Look at this.
Are you kidding me? Who wakes up at 5:30 on a Sunday morning? Hi, I'm Sugar Pie. Welcome to another adventure. This day I was an early bird, not to catch the worm, but because I had a really long ride ahead of me. I was going to be riding from my home in Brantford to the town of Port Dover on the coast of Lake Erie. That's a 50-kilometer ride one way, and I had to come home as well. So before the sun even rose, I was facing a 100-kilometer bike ride. Even at 25 kilometers per hour, that meant 4 hours of constant pedaling at least. I was wondering if those birds could use some help catching those worms instead. Well, once the coffee kicked in, however, and the cats were fed, with the sun rising over the Grand River, I was off to Port Dover, not the worm thing. But really though, I was looking forward to this ride. I'd ridden a little bit more than halfway when I went to Waterford Ponds. I knew the trails and scenery would be nice, and now that I've done a few rides and spent a fair amount of time with my bike, I was most just looking forward to having fun. I couldn't wait to tell you all about it as it happened. And I did, and it was great stuff. So of course what happens? My producer cameraman was completely unaware that the microphone on my bike cam was turned off the entire day. So you can't hear any of it. After politely asking what he was going to do about it, he said he could read my lips and make sure that you don't have to miss any of my great comments and insights. Before long, I was already riding past the sleepy village of Mount Pleasant. See, even the horses are not awake yet. The trail I was riding follows old rail lines, most of the way to Port Dover. Parts of it are even paved. I was so excited about that, I nearly forgot where I was going. About halfway between Mount Pleasant and Scotland, right off of the trail, is a tiny little cemetery. So of course I had to stop and pay my respects. The problem with drinking so much coffee to wake up is eventually you have to go. Thankfully, when we got to Scotland, there was a porta potty. After a bit of relief, hit the trail again. As I rolled into Norfolk County, I realized how cool it was to know where I was going for a change.
Norfolk County, which is just under 30 kilometers from our destination.
As nice as the Norfolk County part of the trail is, it does unfortunately mean the end of the pavement for the most part. It doesn't make a big difference to the riding. It just means that you're likely to have a hair full of sand and stones by the end, thrown up by the bike's tires. It gets everywhere. This trail and thousands more like it across the country make up part of Trans-Canada Trail Network that crosses the country from the Atlantic to the Pacific to the Arctic Ocean. I'm not gonna lie, it kind of scares me a bit that my producer knows that. Seemed a bit too excited while telling me. In the middle of nowhere, it's nice to see some greenhouses. To add some color to all of the green. Passing more and more swampland made me glad that I lived too far north for alligators and crocodiles. And scary snakes for that matter too. We do have some critters in the waters up here, however. Even a long distance can seem shorter the more often you travel it. Before I knew it, I arrived at Waterford Ponds. Outside of, Waterford.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Waterford. Ain't it pretty? The lake we're going to is much bigger.
This is as far as I've ridden this trail before. I was excited to see what the rest of it was like. So was my cameraman. At least he was.
Hey, look at this!
My cameraman just needs to pay more attention. Wait, I didn't say that. No, that was not my fault. Can we just be professional and not put words in my mouth, please? Fine. Feel better? Good. Can we get on with the show? This again. Why? The closest restroom would be in Simcoe, still almost 10 kilometers away. With a sudden sense of urgency, I picked up speed and the race was on. Okay, so I didn't quite make it to Simcoe. As it turns out, I was close. After a few minutes, signs of civilization turned into the town of Simcoe. And pavement. This also meant the end of the trail. Some construction meant a bit of a detour. I walk and ride the bus. I don't drive and never paid much attention to the rules of the road. I'm not a fan of riding on the roads. It was a relief getting back on the trail. This made the rest of the ride through town quite nice. With most of the trail behind me, there was one final leg of the journey to go, on to Dover. Even though there was one more section of road, I was really liking the ride still. Finally, it was the end of the trail. I made it. It's time to get down to the lake. And what a beautiful sight it was after such a long ride. The nice thing about Port Dover is that everywhere you look, people are having a good time. The beach, on the water, or out for a stroll on the pier. And not just the people. It was a great day in a great part of the world, and it was great to see everyone doing whatever it is that they wanted to do. And that's really the point of this, isn't it? I rode my bike 100 kilometers that day. Not because I had to, but because I wanted to. And when you get to do what you want, you're never more free. Okay, that's enough of that. My lips weren't even moving. There's no way I said that.